transmission now. Yeah, now I can see the chat. Okay. Can you see the new transmission, Nick?
It looks like you haven't started it yet. I just see, oh, now you're starting it. Yeah, now I see it.
Perfect. So, hi Nick, welcome.
Hi.
Sorry for all the technical issues. So, could you please introduce yourself firstly?
Sure.
Where are you
My name,
from? Yeah.
so my name is Nick Schoenberger. I live in Boston, Massachusetts, and I am friends with Susel.
Okay. Thanks, Nick. Perfect. So, what will be today's topic? Today we will talk about writing emails in English. For us, it's very difficult, even in Spanish, right? So, first than anything, let's be sure that everything is working, and I just want to check that they can hear us. Hi, Cecilia. How is the sound? Is it good? So what I will do is I will do something very similar than in classes. Nick, I will share you my screen so you can see the chat.
Okay.
Okay. Aquí está. And ready. It's good. Perfect. So you can see the chat. And ready. And we can see you now. Perfect. Let's start. Let's see. From what cities are you visiting, guys? ¿Desde qué ciudades nos están escribiendo? Cecilia, Vianey, Miguel, Vanessa. Good afternoon.
Oh, whoa. I like that.
No. I don't know. Sorry, it's the first time we haven't done before yet. Guerrero, CDMX,
Puebla.
Puebla. Okay. I guess I will stop sharing my screen, Nick, and I will help you reading their comments.
No, I can see them.
Can you? Perfect.
Yeah, in the YouTube.
Okay, perfect. Ciudad de México, Jalapa, Hermosillo, Culiacán, Valeria. I just came from there. All right, Nick. So I would like to also to ask them, why are you here, guys? Do you use English at work? Do you use it for your school?
Norteña. Cecilia.
Mhm. Okay. So, Nick, how was the process? How did you learn yourself to write formal emails? Is it common, I don't know, at school or anything like that, or until you started working?
Good question. I would say email is a totally different way of communicating in professional work. At least when I was growing up in school, email was a new thing, right? We were learning how to write 5-paragraph essays and lengthy paragraphs, and that really doesn't work in email.
Okay. Okay. So let's. The microphone is all yours, Nick. I will
Okay.
minimize myself for not distracting a little bit, but I will be here in the chat also helping. And well, I will be here. So please, let's start.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. We're going to set out. We have a few things we'll cover. I think even before we talk about emails, we'll talk about the questions you should be asking yourself before you write the email. Questions like, who is the email to? Who is your audience? Because if you're writing an email to your boss, is going to be a different email than when you write to the general public, or when you write an email to a colleague or a friend. You may use different wording to express the important part of the email. So the main questions that you would ask before getting into your email would be, I would say the first and foremost is, what am I trying to say? Why are you writing the email? Is it to ask for a favor, to ask for a interview, if it's for a job? If so, you also want to consider who, again, I said, who is your audience? Maybe it's somebody who you're asking a favor for, and maybe you know they're very busy, in which case you would like to write an email that's very succinct and gets to the point of what you're trying to say as quickly as possible. That way, for your reader, they can take less time to determine what the meaning of your email is. Another question I would suggest to ask would be, what does the reader need to know? Sometimes you need to provide context for why you are contacting this person, or you're following up on an email thread on a particular topic, but maybe there's a new individual in the email that doesn't know the background, in which case there's context that you would need to include.
Okay.
So I would say those three questions: what am I trying to say? What does the reader need to know? And who is my audience? Are all really good questions to ask before you even start your email.
Okay.
And then generally thinking, like I said, an email is a form of communication. One of the things that is, I think, harder to communicate with email is that, versus other forms of communication, is that all you have is your writing. You're not there to use hand gestures or change your where you put emphasis in a word when you're speaking, the way you do with writing. So being able to pick the right words and to be able to do so succinctly is really important when writing. So general tips I would say for that would be just to keep it brief and to the point. Again, your reader's time is precious, and you have a higher chance of getting a reply if you can summarize the most important information, let them know exactly what the most important part of the email is quickly, and doing so in a professional manner.
Okay.
Which goes to the next point. You want to avoid colloquialisms. Things like local phrasing. Maybe in Spanish you would not say "oye wey" to a boss, or in the South here in the United States, it is common to say "y'all" to refer to you all, to a group, at least when you're speaking with someone. That is not professional writing for communicating via email. Maybe between friends, sure, but when you're communicating with a client, a coworker, you'd want to avoid colloquialisms.
And Nick, sorry, Nick,
Sure.
I would like to ask you or stop in that point, because here in Mexico, when we write formal emails, we tend to write a lot, so it's different. We here write like, por medio de la presente le escribo que. So it is important to point out for the students that in English is different. In English, emails should be more concise and more brief. Okay, just that. Continue, Nick. Thanks.
Definitely, yeah. And that's a good point, because there are all types of different things that you could be writing. If you're writing a proposal, for maybe you are trying to sell something to a client, a proposal will be much more formal, right? That will include more detail. It may be a couple pages, a 1 or 2 page document. But for email, yeah, the general way an email is made, it's fleeting. When you even start an email in Gmail, for example, it creates a pop-up, and as soon as you send that email, it disappears. It's not something that you can save, really, right? Or it automatically saves, but it's generally the way it's designed is to be done somewhat quickly. So yeah, I would agree. It's a little, maybe that's a little different than in Latin America or in Mexico.
Okay, okay. And what are the other points to be aware when we write emails?
Yeah. Don't, this may sound, don't be mean, don't be rude. That's probably an obvious one. But if you're asking for something, you want to come off in a positive and polite tone, be courteous. I think that's probably an obvious one. Another thing, which I'm a very sarcastic person, but maybe you already know, when writing, sarcasm doesn't always translate. So you definitely want to avoid using sarcasm. Yeah, there's a few other things that you want to avoid. Too much formality, which Susa, you pointed out, which is maybe different for when you write here. You would want to avoid things like, please be advised that, or pursuant to your directions. These are more kind of fluffy. It doesn't add anything to the sentence. It sounds nice, but for a person who has 100 other emails to read, you're just wasting their time with the length of those kind of add-on to sentences. And then you would want to use personal pronouns is generally a good idea when communicating via email. He, she, we, us, they, to get across the, who specifically you're talking to. And then, yeah, avoid, I mentioned avoid sarcasm. Another example is using an active voice when writing an email. Again, I'm touching on a lot of things here, and we, in future opportunities may be able to go in deeper on, active voice versus passive voice. For example, when crafting an email, you may say, our technology team is actively working to solve your problem. And that would be a lot better than saying, discussions have been conducted by our tech team to seek a solution to your problem. That's a lot more wordy, and it's generally just not a good practice. You usually want to speak in active voice when crafting an email. So I guess I'm going to just summarize here. And did you have any questions, Susan?
Yeah. I would prefer them to ask something in this point. So remember, before writing an email, we need to think who is our audience and what is the message, right?
Right.
Entonces, ¿alguna pregunta, chicos? ¿Algo que quieran que repitamos en español? Vamos a ir recorriendo vocabulario útil para cada sección. Vamos a hacer un par de ejercicios. Hasta ahorita, hasta lo que tienen que preparar. Lo más importante es que en inglés somos breves, en vez de ser como tan redundantes o echar tanto choro como en español. ¿Vale? Sí se utiliza el lenguaje formal y que hablemos en primera persona o con voz activa, ¿sale? No vamos a hablar tanto con voz pasiva, sino aquí sí vamos a tomar el liderazgo en el mensaje. Okay, Nick. So I think there are no questions until here, so we could start with the first activity.
Yeah. Now it's time to test our knowledge. So I'm going to share my screen right
Yes,
here.
please.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
1 second. All right. Can you see that?
Yes. Let me see if I can do it a little bit bigger. Yeah.
I can make the text bigger too if you want.
Yes, please. Listo. Okay.
So, yeah, so we have 6 examples here of more lengthy sentences in English. And we're going to take, I think, 5 minutes for everyone on the call or on the video now to figure out how can we make these sentences shorter and still capture the same meaning. So, you know, maybe I'll wait for, maybe we'll take 3 or 4 minutes, let folks go through the first, oh, actually, yep, I have 6. All right. To go through the 6, and then we can start going through it together. Does that sound good? Seuss, did I lose you?
No, no, no. No, I'm here.
No. Okay.
I'm just sending the new link for the others who didn't have it. But let's write it in the chat, guys. Vamos a escribir en el chat. A ver, ¿cómo harían el ejercicio 1? ¿Cómo lo resumirían? ¿O cómo le quitarían el choro? ¿Cómo sería un poquito más directo y más conciso? Entonces vamos a escribir, ustedes mismos escriban en el chat, por favor, cómo cambiarían cada uno de los enunciados. How would you change each of the sentences? So let's start with number 1. Can you see the chat, Nick?
I can, yeah.
Okay.
I'll just say, you know, as a little hint, I think for all of these, in most cases in these examples, we're looking to eliminate words that don't need to be here, that will still get across the same meaning. All right, should we go for number 1? Oh, I see some people coming in.
Yeah. Maybe we can read their examples and check it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So all right, so let's do that. So Anna started it out. As you asked, I met with Roger Smith today. So pursuant to your directions, I met with Roger Smith today regarding the above mentioned. I think, Anna, that's a great start. Even, I think you could definitely change pursuant to your directions, because I agree it sounds too fancy for an email, and it doesn't really help provide any additional context to the focus of what you're trying to say, which is that you met with Roger Smith. and you did that today. Let's see, who else? I see, I met with Roger Smith today, Vanessa. I like that one. That's probably what I would write. I met with Roger Smith today, because the rest of it is kind of filler. You don't necessarily need it. I think the sentence structure of as you asked or as you said, I think is a little, it doesn't sound so, it doesn't sound correct. You know, as you could say, as you mentioned, but I think it's not it sounds a little, it just doesn't sound correct. I don't know English well enough to explain why, but I would probably go with, for the first one, I met with Roger Smith today. Or I met with Roger today. That would work too. And yeah, I like the other examples. I think if you were introducing yourself, hi, Mr. X, I met with Roger Smith today, regards. Those are all, you know, good ways to, you know, start an email and finish an email. And I don't know if we'll cover kind of salutations or when you sign off on an email, but regards is a good one. It's better than a longer sentence one that we have in here. So we'll get to that example, but these are good. Let's check out number 2. So please be advised that the deadline for the competitions is Monday, April 12th. So what can we eliminate here that will still get the most important details of the sentence, but save yourself time? It'll look more professional, and I'll save the reader's time. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of right answers in there in the chat. Please be advised that the deadline for the competitions is Monday, April 12th. It's not a terrible sentence, but you don't need the please be advised. So I think what a lot of folks are saying is just getting rid of this part and doing it as the deadline for the competitions is Monday, April 12th. I saw another answer or two, I think, that even got rid of the competitions, which you could do that if you had in a previous sentence of the topic, so that everyone in the email knew that you were talking about the competitions, then you could do that. But in this case, you'd want to make sure that the subject is included, which in this case, it's the competitions. But that was good. I feel like a lot of folks got that one. Here we go. Number 3, I think we can move on. Is there any questions on this one? Seuss, if there are, just let me know in the chat.
Yeah. I'm checking the chat too.
Let's look at number 3.
So yeah, sorry, Nick. Valeria
thank
asks,
you for your courtesy and cooperation regarding this matter.
Vanessa asks if we can use aware instead of be aware instead of be advised.
If you can use specifically that, the difference there, be aware versus be advised. Let's see. Please be advice. Yeah, I would say yes. Please, I mean, please be advised is fine. That's to, yeah, you want to highlight certain, yeah, I think in certain instances, depending on what you're highlighting, and in that case, you're saying, be aware or please be advised. There's other ways to, I think, highlight that information in an email without having to use either of those sentences. And that's something I don't know if we'll cover today if we have enough time, but using white space in your document to lay out the most important parts so that it's easier for the reader to digest. Something like below, find the details of our proposal below, or find these are the next steps for us to move forward in this proposal, and then listing those things in a list format would get to the same point of be aware or to please be advised. You would say, just for grammar's sake, you would say either be aware or please be advised. You wouldn't be able to say please be advice.
Okay.
So.
Okay, Nick. Now we just see part of your screen. Could you move it a little bit?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, don't worry. There it is. Perfect. Thanks.
Great. Yeah, it's hard to do both. See the chat and share the screen.
Vamos en el número 3. ¿Cómo
Yeah.
cambiarían el ejercicio 3?
This one's great.
Thank you, Valera 6. Ok, vamos a ver qué más ponen los otros. Let's see what the others write. Thanks for all. Thanks for your courtesy and cooperation. Thank you for your courtesy and cooperating. Thanks for your courtesy. Nick, how about writing thanks in an email? Is it correct to write thanks, or we should avoid it and write thank you instead?
Yeah, that's a good question. Generally speaking, I would avoid thanks in a professional email. I would use thank you.
Okay.
Now, yeah, I think there's good options. Vanessa, thank you for your courtesy and you would say cooperation. But how can we even make this shorter and keep it professional? So yeah, and Biani, I think, yeah, thanks for all. Again, you'd probably want to avoid thanks.
Nick,
yep.
do you think you could write below each phrase the summarized one?
Sure.
So we can compare it or track if someone joined late, they could track what is the best suggestion.
Yeah, I'll do that now. Can you still see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Yes. Thanks.
Sure. I need to toggle back. Now you can't really see it, right? It's small.
Yeah. Perfect. Kind of. Yeah.
Great. Is it still small though?
No, but we see everything.
Okay, good.
But if you could write it in the same file, Nick.
Oh, I'm sorry.
please?
Sure, like the answers in each of these?
Yes. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Please don't hesitate to ask me any questions. Ya van inclusive. They are even writing the fourth one.
They're moving quick. Yeah. I didn't answer the number 3, but my favorite answer here is just thank you.
Okay.
I think that's all you got to say. Save your, it's a whole sentence. It saves you time. It saves your reader time. I typically will do thank you. I did see someone else wrote regards before as like a sign off. That's always good. Regards. Take care.
Greetings.
Greetings would be at the beginning of a sentence.
Okay.
You wouldn't use that as a sign off. Oops. What did I say? Oh, we already changed this one.
Okay.
That was good.
Okay.
All right. The fourth one. Please don't hesitate to contact me with any questions regarding your request.
A ver, la número 4. ¿Cómo la harían? ¿Cómo la resumirían? Invito a los que acaban de entrar que participen en el chat activamente para que funcione esta clase. Entonces estamos tratando de ser más breves y concisos. Entonces, en vez de echar tanto choro, tantas palabras complicadas, es importante en inglés, a diferencia de en español, que seamos concisos. Entonces, ¿cómo cambiarían el número 4? How would you change number 4? Teresa Fuentes says, looking forward for your comments. Please be in touch if you have any doubt. Please don't hesitate to contact me. Vanessa says, please contact me if you have questions. Looking forward to your reply. Please contact me if you have any questions. So what do you think, Nick?
Yeah, there's a couple here that are good. I have one answer. Yeah, my answer doesn't necessarily, if you're still conveying the same meaning and doing so in a different way, it would also work. What I would do was, I agree. I think getting rid of please don't hesitate is probably the move. I would just say, contact me with any questions you may have.
Okay.
So that's just, again, it's just getting this, it's taking this part, which is really what you're asking, or telling the individual, hey, I'm available if you have any questions.
And Nick, sometimes we confuse doubt with duda in Spanish, and it's a common mistake because doubt is not a question, right? So for all the ones who are writing, contact me for any doubt. Is it correctly used doubt in that sense? No, right? We shouldn't use
No.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I would, yeah, you definitely, it's, questions about the proposal or questions about whatever it is. Just you're letting the person know that you're available if they want to talk more about the topic.
Entonces, fíjense chicos, aquí es muy interesante porque traducimos doubt como duda, pero es un amigo, false friend, es un falso amigo. Doubt sí es el verbo dudar, pero no se utiliza para preguntas como sustantivo. A doubt es como un dilema. Entonces tú dirías, avísame si tienes algún dilema. ¿Sí ven? ¿Por qué no queda preguntarlo? So just, it's better to use questions. Okay. Perfect. So let's go to number 5, right? Thanks, Nick.
Sure. Yeah, a few inches of snow on the ground is all that is necessary in order for a person to be able to go sledding. Ooh, I'm tired just reading that.
Nick,
Hey.
another question related to this example. But when we are writing essays, it's correct, right, to use those type of.
Yeah. Yes. Um, yeah. Especially if you have a word count that you have to hit.
Okay, because that's very common on the TOEFL test.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. For a longer document, this would be a fine. This is a fine sentence.
Okay.
But also, I don't know. I think the way the world is changing, we're exchanging information so quickly that, in my opinion, and that doesn't mean it's always correct, is the shorter, the better. With as long as you're capturing what you're trying to communicate.
Okay.
That would be my recommendation.
Thanks, Nick.
Sure.
A ver, vamos en el 5. ¿Cómo cambiarían el número 5?
This one's hard, or a little more difficult.
Nick, what does it mean sledding?
Yeah, I can't believe that you guys don't have sledding in Mexico.
Yeah, no, we don't have. It's like this, como patinetas, like
Como patinetas, no sé.
like
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know how to say it even in English.
Well, let's see what I can find. I think where the best way to know what sledding is going to be by
Search for a
finding.
picture.
Yeah. Can you guys see that?
Okay, yes, we don't have it.
Yeah, that is sledding.
Okay,
Let's see if they have
we
others.
could use bags, I think.
Uh-huh.
If because we don't have snow. I don't know in other cities, guys. Do you have
Whoops.
snow? Okay. Un
Yeah.
trineo. Have you done it?
Yeah, of course. As a kid, we would do this all the time. Sometimes you would have school would be canceled because there was so much snow on the ground, and that was a really fun day. It was a snow day, and so you call your friends and you go to the local hill, and you bring your sled and you go sledding.
That seems very funny. I want to do it. And as an adult, do you do it or no?
You sure? You can. You can.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
a lot of fun.
Okay. A ver, no vemos ni un ejemplo. Inténtenlo, chicos, inténtenlo.
So I would say. So what do we say?
Let's wait for their answers. Okay.
Okay.
Miguel wrote 1. Few inches of snow is all needed to go sledding. Valeria wrote a few inches of snow is all that is necessary to be able to go sledding. I think it sounds still a little bit long, Valeria.
Mhm.
Vianney, it's necessary a little snow for sledding. Jen, a few inches of snow is all you need for sledding. What do you think, Nick, of their samples?
Yeah. This is a hard one. There's just a lot going on in the sentence, and it would work just as it is. It's just a little long, and so the main point here is that you need snow to go sledding, and so I would put. I believe I saw it. I think a few inches of snow is needed or is necessary to go sledding.
Okay. Okay.
But there were some other answers. A few inches of snow is all you need for sledding. I don't think that you could do that. You need snow for sledding. I like that. Yeah, I would stick with, I think you still want to include maybe the minimum amount of snow, so a few inches of snow. I could see this also being just saying snow is necessary for
Okay.
to go sledding.
Okay. Roosevelt. Sorry, we are just picking some of the examples, but
I like Vicente's example.
when it snows enough, we go sledding.
When it snows enough, we go sledding. When
No, right? Because it means that it is needed a lot. That would change the meaning, right? Because what it is enough.
right, yeah, right. It's you're saying there that a certain amount of snow would be needed to go sledding, and I think this example, there's plenty of ways to write this meaning. But based on what we have for the example of and how the sentence is already structured, this is how I would do it. But that doesn't mean there's not other ways to communicate this, which is, you could say,
Okay.
yeah, a few inches of snow. You need a little snow to go sledding. You need a few inches of snow to go sledding. A few inches of snow is necessary. A few inches of snow is needed to go sledding.
Okay.
So there's a couple ways to do it,
Okay.
but based on just the example we have here, we're getting rid of on the ground. We're changing is all that is necessary to is necessary. We don't need the is all that.
Okay.
And then in order for a person to be able to, that's just the same as saying to go sledding. So those are the things we're looking out for.
Okay.
So does
Let's
that
say
make
number
sense?
6. Yeah, totally.
Okay. All of the students who are new to this school are required to attend a meeting that has been scheduled for Friday, the 22nd of September. Yeah, Jesus, you had a good example. That one works. You only need a few inches of snow to go sledding. Freshman. I like that, Teresa. It's a little different, though. That's a little different, but close. Okay, there's a lot of good answers here.
How would you reparaphrase it, Nick?
Yeah, so all of the students who are new to this school are required to attend a meeting that has been scheduled for Friday, the 22nd of September. It's too long. I would start with all of the students who are new. What's another way to say that? New students. So I would start with new student. Oops. New students. And then are required to attend a meeting that has been scheduled for. I would say are required Or you could, how else could you say are required to attend a meeting? I think well, let's just look at are required to. What's another way to say are required to? I would say must.
Okay, yeah.
Must. And then attend a meeting.
On?
I'm sorry?
No. Sorry.
Friday, September 22nd. You're right, on. I would do on. New students must attend a meeting on Friday, September 22nd.
Okay.
We could even do all new students. But I think you still capture, actually all and new are kind of both, I don't actually think you need all there, just new students. It gets to exactly who you're talking about, which is new students. I saw like a freshman as an example. That's for high school or for college, then the incoming students. It could also be though students who have transferred. So, maybe then those students don't come to the meeting. So I would stick with just new students.
And how about the usage of need, attend? Does that sound less formal? New students need attend. Yes, right? It's like an order. It's more formal must.
You would want to write need to attend.
Okay. Need to attend or must attend?
Need to attend or must attend, right?
Must. The question is must more like formal than need, or does it change the meaning? Or
no, you could use those synonymously. You could say must or need to. They would work. They're both the same. So new students need to.
okay.
Generally, I would probably stick with, I'm trying to think, new students need to attend a meeting. Need suggests that it's not required.
That it's a necessity.
Yeah. And in this case, it is required. So must is like a requirement is where I would draw that difference.
Okay, thanks. Okay.
I would say must attend. But good question, Martha.
Okay.
Okay.
Muy bien. All right, so let's continue with the next activity.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the vocabulary?
I think we can go to vocabulary. Does that sound good?
Yeah. And we can check it together. What do you think, Nick?
That sounds good.
Perfect. A ver. Entonces, ahora vamos a ver vocabulario útil cuando estamos escribiendo correos. ¿Sale? Ok. Entonces, Nick, can you do a little bit bigger your screen?
Sure. Let's just do this. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Okay, so we will talk a little bit about opening vocabulary. Let me see if there it is. So we will see there. Can we talk about those, Nick? Dear,
Sure.
sir, or dear. In what cases do we use dear? If I'm writing to my boss, would I write dear or not? No.
No.
In what cases is used?
Yeah. It's a good question. Dear sir or madam is very formal. I find that I would avoid this for professional emails. Unless you were writing maybe, I guess it's very formal. So if you're sending over your resume and cover letter, maybe you could say dear, and have the last name of the person you're trying to reach.
Okay.
So I'm taking a step back. It's formal. It's certainly formal.
Okay. Ay.
Generally speaking, in my communications with coworkers and with people I already know, I'll just say hi with their name, right? So, hi, Susel, hi, Valeria, and then get into the email. But if I don't know who the individual is, and they are somebody that I want to address respectively, yeah, I think you could use dear sir or madam, but also it's dear sir or madam is when you don't know the name of the person too.
Ok, perfecto. Cabe destacar, ay, creo que se escucha un eco. A ver, cabe destacar que este vocabulario lo obtuvimos de un curso específico para correos electrónicos de Babel muy bueno, que se los recomendamos. Y estamos, o sea, como viendo cada una de las unidades de este curso, ¿no? Lo extraímos de ahí. Eso es importante. Let's see, to whom it may concern.
Yeah.
Is that common?
Yeah, you see that.
¿A quién corresponde? To whom?
It's the same. Yeah.
Okay. So we would say thank you for your email or thanks for your mail, but not thanks, right? This is vocabulary useful for each section. Okay, not that are like openings all, but we can use them. Letter of reference, salutation, it means encabezado en un correo. Significa como tu asunto también, the salutation. Okay. Can we scroll it down more? To be invited.
You want to zoom in on this?
Yes, please.
Let's see if we can.
Okay. So what kind of salutation should I use for a job application? Sir, dear sir, madam, or to whom may it concern? It's better to use a name and title if you know it. And what if I don't know the name of or title? Then dear and to whom it may concern is often used for impersonal letters. A quien corresponda se usa como cuando quieres escribir a un departamento y no sabes quién está detrás. Es más común que dear, ¿sale? Dear va a ser como solo a un comité, como de una universidad que escriben un premio, cosas así. Okay, Nick. Maybe I can. Maybe it's easier if I share the file.
Okay, sure.
Okay. A ver. Entonces les voy a mostrarles ahora mi pantalla. Aquí está. And I will share you my screen, Nick, so you know what. Aquí está. Okay, so can you see it, Nick?
One second.
Let's see. It's better to write personal salutations. And let's review some vocabulary useful for formal emails or informal emails. The word appropriate in regard to means relacionado a. Esta frasecita es muy útil porque lo pueden utilizar para lo que sea, ¿no? O sea, de algo que está relacionado a un proyecto, está relacionado al correo anterior. Nick, when would we use warm regards? For a formal email or informal?
That one you could use for more. I would say that's probably that's either one. You could do warm regards or. Now that I think it's funny. I'm thinking about it now. Actually, I would say it's probably more informal.
Okay.
I would use warm regards.
Okay, like for a friend or.
Yeah, generally speaking, I would use something other than I would say either thank you for your time and consideration or warm regards. It's
Warmly?
not one. Yeah, warmly. I think you could say it's something. It's not one I see often though. Warm
Okay.
regards. I'm thinking of all the emails that I receive, and it's not one I typically see. Either take care or sincerely is always a good one.
Okay. Sincerely. Okay.
Hmm.
That's a good one. Thanks. To be interested in something, to appreciate, to accept apologies. This is, again, I repeat, like useful vocabulary when we are writing emails. Um, Sincerely. Okay, thanks.
Sure.
And these are like common phrases when we are writing informal emails, right? Like how it's going. We wouldn't use it for our boss, or I don't know, maybe, but not talking about something about related to the job, to their job. To get together, to be into something. See you soon, right? So Nick, what other informal ways can we use for saying bye in an email? Informal.
Informal.
Yeah.
Peace. No, don't write that. Uh,
Kiss?
yeah, like to say goodbye. I think thank you is always
Hugs?
good.
No.
Hugs. Yeah, sure. Un abrazo, you could
Okay.
say, but um,
Like for a friend. Let's
that's much
suppose.
more for a friend. You would
Yeah.
definitely. This is more in the friend area. Um, See you soon. TT. Talk to you later.
What is
Uh,
talk to you later? Is how is the
uh,
acronym?
TTYL. Yeah. T-
TTYL?
yeah. But this is very informal. This is like text messaging style.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's good to know.
Yeah. TTYL. Um,
In okay. In fact, we will see some acronyms too. An attachment, well, you know already that it's a file, un archivo adjunto. Sí, es poner en copia, reenviar, pues devolver, el formato de un archivo, un documento original, original document. And here it is. This is very interesting. Email acronyms. So, Nick, here we have
yeah.
a lot of questions. Si ustedes
Okay.
tienen preguntas, later alligator.
Which one?
Jesús says, uh, later alligator.
See you later, alligator. Yeah.
Later. How do you pronounce it?
See you later, alligator.
Okay. See you later, alligator. Okay. So let's review some acronyms. ASAP, which can you help us, Nick, grading the complete for words
Sure.
as soon as possible, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh,
Sorry.
information.
Okay. And so, do we use these acronyms in a formal email, like for job, or not that much, or yes?
Uh, that's a good question. I think it really depends on who your reader is. I would avoid acronyms with people that you don't know, for one. So it's definitely more of an informal between colleagues. I think it would be fine.
Okay, like for
But with
example, in the chat, in the company chat, if you are working with
yes,
some project and you tell
yes, that
others,
would
like by
be.
Telegram or something like that.
I would think that's fine. I would, if this was to a boss or somebody you didn't know, I would write as soon as possible instead of ASAP.
Okay. For your information, BCC? Huh.
BCC
I'm not sure.
is blind carbon copy.
But what does it mean?
So, for email, you write who you're writing it to is the to line, and then you have the CC line,
Okay.
carbon copy, and that goes to anyone who should be informed of the email. It's not necessarily to them, but it would be
Oh,
for their knowing, you
yeah, yeah,
know?
yeah. Copia oculta. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So, for example, uh, I'm writing to a coworker and I want my boss to know what I'm doing. So I would include him in the CC line.
Okay.
Uh, it means, hey, hey, boss, this is what I'm doing, so I'm informing you, but you don't have to respond. It's not directly to you.
Okay.
Now, blind carbon copy, that's sending an email and that's when you want to send maybe a bunch of emails, but you don't want to share everyone's email address to each other. You would fill in the line for everyone's email in the BCC line.
Okay.
So if I had a list of customers for my restaurant and I was going to run a special for Friday night, and I didn't want to give every other customer's email address, I would use a blind carbon copy. I would fill in their emails in the blind carbon copy.
Okay. 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 Let's see next one. R- Re? Re?
Mhm.
Related to?
Yeah.
Or
That's I don't know exactly. Let me look.
it's funny because sometimes these courses are maybe old or they haven't been
Yeah, it's like
upgraded. Related to?
concerning or in reference
Okay.
to. Probably reference is probably the closest. Referring to, I guess.
Okay. In reference to. And the next one, BTY.
BTY, by the way.
Okay. By the way. So we have here two examples. Please send the report ASAP. It's urgent. You know what is very funny, Nick? That
Mm.
here in a lot of startups, especially like with young people, some meetings are in English or we send each other some. So it's getting more and more common. There are even some memes that we talk everything in English, even when it's not like necessary.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, it's good. It's good. Mm, I've attached a copy of the new schedule for your information. I'll BCC you into the email. Nobody will know. Damien spoke to me. Re the newsletter problem. And by the way, are you free for lunch today? Okay. Now let's review some request vocabulary. Um, to update, poner al día, already, to request, solicitar, reschedule a meeting, ignore, inform, the status, a deadline. Esta luego se las ponía en los exámenes y me decían que era deadline, es fecha límite. To contact directly, contactar directamente. To coordinate, bueno, coordinar, ¿no? Y vamos a ver un poquito de palabras útiles para definir citas, organizar citas. To suggest, to confirm, to postpone, to notify, to attend a meeting, to make arrangements. Nick, would you say to make arrangements in a different way?
I would. No, I think that's okay
Okay.
to make arrangements or to plan a meeting. Yeah, to attend a meeting, to make a meeting or plan a meeting.
Okay,
To
plan a
make
meeting.
arrangements. To arrange, yeah.
To arrange, okay. If possible, an appointment. So let's see some examples. I like to suggest that we do this tomorrow. I had to postpone my lunch with Lydia Agree. Please send me the most recent file if possible. I'll take care of the accommodation arrangements. And here, some of you asked, I think Carla asked for some closing words or yours sincerely. Well, Nick, How
Mm-hmm.
yours sincerely seems for me too like informal.
Mm-hmm.
How what do you think? Would you use
Yeah.
it for a formal email, or in what cases would you use yours sincerely? It seems like for a love letter.
Yeah, love letter. I love letter for sure. So if you really like your boss, you can say yours sincerely. No,
No, no, no, please.
don't do that. I would get rid of yours and just write sincerely.
Okay. Best regards.
Oops. Oops. Yeah. Best regards. That's fine. That's a good one.
Okay.
Best regards. And if you don't like them very much, you can just say regards.
Okay. Okay. Have a nice day. Of course, this is informal, right? Or
No, that's fine.
okay.
Have a nice day. Have a nice weekend. Have a great weekend. It's more informal. It's probably, again, this is between colleagues that you know. Yeah, you know pretty well. It wouldn't be something for I don't know. I think it's nice. It's definitely more informal than formal though.
Okay. And the difference between kind regards and best regards, which
You could do that. Kind
are
regards is fine
synonyms?
too. Yeah, yep. I mean, kind is not as nice as best, but it's good.
Okay. Ah, okay, okay, okay.
Mhm.
Um, let's see. Feel free to get in touch.
That's a good one.
Okay. Looking forward to
Yeah, looking forward to
to
meeting or talking, discussing more of the topic, or looking forward to meeting you in person, or looking forward to discussing with you further, looking forward to, you know,
okay.
whatever it is. That's a good one.
Okay. Roswell Garcia asks about obliged.
Much obliged, much obliged.
In what
Um,
cases use that?
uh, that's pretty formal. I mean, it's good. It makes sense. You could do it. I would say you could. Yeah, that would be fine. Much obliged. It's basically thank you, but a fancier way to say it.
Ah, okay. So yes, Roswell, you can use it. It's very, very, very formal.
Hmm.
Best is are informal, right? Best.
Best, yeah. It's both. You could use best either way. I think it's actually more formal. Which is kind of funny. It's
Huh, even if it's shorter, it's more formal.
yeah. It's because it doesn't. It's kind of lacking any warmth or. Um,
Ah, okay.
it's very kind of to the point.
Ah, okay, 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 okay. Like if you just want to set something very quickly, best, and then you put
Yes,
your name, right? Like
of course. Yep.
best Susel or
Yeah, exactly. Best. Yeah. Yeah. You writing it?
okay.
Oops.
Como muy X, ¿no? Como muy muy formal y sin importancia. Ah, that was something that I was going to ask. That's very common, right? To write the end and then a comma and your name at the end.
Yes. For any of these, I would do this.
Okay.
Thank you, comma, Nick.
Okay.
Uh,
And Nick, something important
for,
here. Well, I have a question, but
yeah.
is it common to write your complete name at the end of a closing, or just your first name?
Uh, that's a good question. You, uh, again, for this is, well, depends. If you've had if this is the first email you're sending with folks and you don't know the individual, I would include your contact information. So, for example, uh, you know, I look forward to discussing with you further. And then I'd write Nick, and then I would do lower down my name, Nick Schoenberger. I would put my email and put my, email here. If anyone wants to email me, come at it. My maybe telephone, or actually before I would do all that, I'd probably put my title for my work, economic development, or actually, what is it? Chief Operating Officer company that I work for, Google,
Okay.
and then your contact information, right?
Okay. Okay. So you would write would you write both?
I would. I
Okay.
would.
¿Se
I would
fijan?
just,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. I would do it probably what you want people to call you as. So Nick, and then just further information if they want to get in touch with you
Okay.
at the bottom.
Ok, entonces chicos, lo que nos comenta Nick, solo compartiéndolo en español, es que es común que después de la despedida pongas una coma, luego tu nombre abajo, tu primer nombre y ya después tu ficha de contacto. Y en los correos posteriores ya pueden escribir únicamente su nombre. No, eso sí lo he visto, es muy común en correos, inclusive como en puestos importantes en empresas, etcétera, se siguen despidiendo con su nombre de pila. Okay, thanks Nick.
Sure.
Do you have guys questions? Chicos, ¿tienen alguna pregunta sobre
Yeah.
esto? Vamos a hacer un par de ejercicios. Tenemos otros acrónimos. Estos no son formales, ojo. Solo para que conozcamos si son comunes en forma escrita o para comunicarte con tus colegas de trabajo. LOL, loud out loud, es como algo que te da mucha risa, probablemente ya lo conocen. AIMO, AIMO? How do you pronounce it? ¿IMO?
IMO, I think.
IMO. Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
in my opinion.
IMO, please, thanks, and regards.
Hmm.
Would you say regards if you are like talking to your coworker in the office and you are, I don't know, in the internal chat in the company?
I never see regards like that. I never see people writing that, but
Okay.
you could use it. You could say it would work. I would probably I like thanks is very common. Please, or this with a Z too, but that's more informal.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, really?
yeah, that's like leet speak. That's like for the computer. Maybe not. Let's
Okay.
not learn that.
Yeah,
Let's
no,
stick
no,
with
no.
please. uh,
Am, y vamos a ver, vamos a regresar. Vamos a hacer un pequeño ejercicio. We will do a different activity, correcting some emails with Nick.
mm.
And Stephanie asks again if it's correct to use contractions. What type of contractions, Stephanie? Vanessa, no, but you can take screenshots and all the recording will be here in YouTube. Okay? Entonces, Nick, we are ready for doing the next activity. ¿Tienen
Okay.
alguna otra pregunta sobre los correos?
Do I need to share my screen again?
Yes, please.
All right, 1 sec.
Is bot? Is bot?
I'm sorry?
No, I'm just reading Stephanie's comment. Vamos a hacer una última actividad para que participen en el chat, ¿vale? Ok.
So we do this. Okay, this is going to be fun, guys. Some emails, some examples of emails. So to jump into it, I mentioned this at the beginning. There's only one way for your reader to interpret your message with a written document. So it's really important when you are thinking of the words to use to make sure your meaning comes through. The example below is an actual email that I sent to my boss. And so it was fun to look at it today, or preparing for this class, to think how I could have done it better. And so with this email, we're going to look at what is the central question I'm posing to my boss, and then does every sentence support my central question? And then how can we make this email more succinct?
What do you mean with succinct?
Succinct is short and to the point. Less words, more, how do you say?
Accurate?
More accurate, but succinct is like something that is, I'm going to have to look it up specifically, but it's really more tightly, I don't know, more high powered. So when you pick the right word to describe something, it means you can use that word is doing much more work than if you had written it to say the same thing in more words.
Okay.
So succinct is, I'm going to look it up. Let's do translation, Google Translate.
Resumido, aquí nos están. Focus.
Cinta? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Como, I didn't know that word in Spanish even. But yeah,
Okay.
we understood. Like, resumido, go more straight.
Yeah, more straight and to the point, more accurate, more clear.
Okay. Entonces, so we will ask them to answer these 3 questions, right?
Yeah, I think we'll start with what is the central question I'm posing to my boss? And I'm just going to read this because it's a long thing and we can't have everyone type it out. But so let's start with what is the central question I'm posing to my boss?
Okay.
My boss's name is Tom. All right, so the subject was laser cutter, broken part. Hi, Tom. One of our laser cutters suffered some damage during the move in and out of the high school and requires a new part to be installed. The manufacturer diagnosed the problem, which I've attached. Black Hat Labs is a Somerville-based company. Looks like I didn't. And has offered to provide the work and order the part. All in all, it will cost about $1,500 to repair. These are the things that we will be purchasing. We could go after the movers, but it would likely take months before we have a fab lab up and running, again, to resolve the issue. Are you all right if I go ahead and order the parts through Black Cat Labs and have them do the work to get it back up and running? That's it. This is another email. So what is the central question that I'm asking my boss here? At the end of the day, what is the most important thing that he needs to know in these 2 paragraphs? And apologies, there's a lot of jargon in here. I'm going to change this for...
A ver, entonces, ¿de qué es el tema? Ay, perdón. A ver, la pregunta aquí es, ¿cuál es el tema? ¿Qué,
Or what do I want my boss to know?
¿Qué le quiere decir Rick a su jefe con este correo? Can you show us your screen?
Yep,
with
sure.
The...
Bigger?
No, that's perfect, yes.
Okay. I realize there's a lot of information here.
No, it's a good challenge. It's a good challenge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I'm seeing some good answers in here. So let's see if anyone else, another few seconds, but yeah, the central question, I'm gonna go for it. The central question that I'm asking is as the last thing that I write in this email, which I would not recommend doing. But basically, can I order the parts and spend this amount of money to fix the problem? Yes or no is really what I'm getting at. Now, that's the main question. We have a problem. and I'm asking, is the solution that I've put forth one that I can I do that or no? And so if I were to write this email again, I would change a few things, either with the subject or with the main question, to make it really pop, so that my boss could read and get the information necessary as quickly as possible and not have to read all of this to be able to provide a response. So how could I do that? Let's see. I would probably do for subject. Let's see. I would probably, well, actually, let's just for a common history. So I would probably change this, say, can I purchase replacement parts for our laser cutter? Honestly, in some cases, this could be the entire email. Can I purchase replacement parts for our laser cutter? And that happens sometimes. I get emails from colleagues who, again, are very busy, and they just need to highlight to figure out one particular thing. And it can be in the subject line, are you available for a call at 2 p.m.? Or are you available to talk for 10 minutes at 12 o'clock? And nothing in the subject, or nothing in the body of the email.
Really?
Yeah, it happens. Certainly, this is still amongst colleagues that you're pretty familiar with, I would say. But it's like a text message, right? It's super succinct and quick.
Entonces, no sé por qué cuando hablo me escucho con eco. A ver, ya, creo que ya. Lo que nos comenta Nick es que es importante que en el asunto hablemos ahí pongamos el objetivo de nuestro correo. De forma de que solo leyéndolo se entendiera todo. Que ya facilitándole la vida a los que están leyendo 300 correos al día, ¿no? I just reparaphrased in Spanish, Nick. Okay.
Claro, yo entendí todo.
Muy bien. Sí.
So let's see, what other... Now, in this case, again, my boss has a lot of other things to worry about. And so this is my responsibility to make this decision, or at least to present him with the relevant information. And so the relevant information about the decision is the cost. And I spoke of this earlier, and this is probably the one thing I did do well in this email, was to create white space, to really highlight what it is that, what the cost associated with the repair is. So, this could also be, like I mentioned, this, for example, if Susel and I were emailing about the topic of today's class, we could highlight to each other what the agenda should be. And it could be an introduction, a written exercise, review on best practices, and just highlighting kind of the most important high-level information. And that can be achieved with spacing. I could number this out. I'm going to get rid of that.
Okay. So the way how we visually write the email is important.
It is, yeah. I would probably, we could do it this way. But I think the way that you have this negative space, like if I wrote this, it's not going to look as well if I did, oops. Yeah, what it like I could say the same things at the end of the sentence. You're like, here are the costs, and write it as a sentence like this, but it's a lot harder to get the important details when you do it that way. And that's where setting it up as with some with some white space is really good.
Nick, and do you recommend changing the size of the letters or not, or keeping it the same?
No, I wouldn't change the size. I would maybe bold it, or like another way, you know, this was one example to really get to the point to my boss. I could also just bold this entire part so that the email that my boss can say, okay, the most important thing is, are you all right if I go ahead and order the parts?
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't change the sizing. I think that would look a little strange. But yeah, you can use bolding is good to provide emphasis, to emphasize really the focus of the email.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Guys, do you have questions? ¿Tienen preguntas, chicos? Entonces lo que nos comenta Nick es que es bueno poner en negritas algunas cosas importantes, ¿no? Como cantidades o la pregunta. Y eso ayuda a que cuando las personas hacen skimming en su correo identifiquen y no se les vaya lo importante. Ok. Yeah. Continue.
Great. So I'm just doing a time check. It looks like we have 20 minutes here.
Yeah.
This is an example, and we can look at this. I'll pick out some things that we could change. There's a lot of things we could change. This is an email from Adrian, or from Rocky Balboa, from the movie Rocky, to Adrian, his wife, and is an example of how to not write a email. Yo, Adrian, widgets for the perpetual motion machine. 5 out of the last 3 most recent deliveries contained the wrong size of widgets. In light of the fact that our necks are on the line, we are requesting a prompt delivery of replacement widgets. We messed up big time and ordered size 23 instead of size 2300 because we were celebrating late that night. Oh no, late the night before, and someone sat on the 0 on the computer. Could you be a dear and shoot them over here post-haste? We'll pay for it. Please call me when you receive this letter and let me know whether the proper widgets can be delivered on time. Back at you, babe. Rocky.
Okay. Entonces, chicos, ¿qué cambiarían?
Again, an example. This is an example of how not to write an email, especially a formal email when you are requesting something from another company. Yo is not an appropriate introduction. That's very informal. You could say that amongst friends, but even that, I think, some friends might even get offended by that.
It's like A to.
Exactly.
Maybe we can ask them. Sorry. What would you change, guys? ¿Qué cambiarían, chicos? A ver,
question.
Can you share us, Nick, the whole email? Like scroll it a little bit because we just see part of it.
Let's do this. Let's go. I'm gonna bring this down here, and then we'll go here.
Perfect.
Can you see it all? Almost.
No, we just see half
There we
part.
Is that it?
Perfect. Yeah. Yep. A ver, ¿qué cambiaría?
Yeah, dear Adrian is good. Yo is bad.
Miguel says, do not put the word as in the email.
Yeah, that's a good,
Where is it?
yeah, do I have it in there? No, we don't have it in there, thank goodness.
Where is it? Miguel.
But that's a good rule generally.
Of course.
That is probably a word you shouldn't put in email.
Yeah.
So yeah, the first thing, yeah, yo, I saw it out there. I'm gonna change it. Dear is much better. It's much more professional. Dear Adrian. Widgets for the perpetual motion machine. That's fine. What about this? 5 out of the last 3. Does that make sense?
I even don't know what does it mean.
5. Let's see.
5 de los últimos 3.
5 de los 3 veces. 5 out of the last, which doesn't make sense. It should be 3 out of the last 5. But it's like for every in this sentence, it is 5 times out of the last 3 times we made an order, we received the wrong thing. But 5 out of 3 is more than 3, which is the total amount of times you receive something in this case. So it really should be 3 out of the last 5. So it's just a mistake in the way it was written. This should be 3 out of the last 5. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Totally, yes. Totally, yes.
Okay.
Our ex-president told something like that once. So.
Oh, okay. Ours did too. George Bush said something like that a long time ago.
Okay, Vanessa tells some correction. Could you be a deer by considered?
Sorry, could you be a deer?
Okay, dice que eso lo cambiaríamos, lo de could you be a deer?
Yeah, that's really informal and probably a little sexist, I think. But sounds about right for Rocky.
Could you be a deer? ¿Cómo serías tan linda?
Yeah, kind of. What could you change that to?
¿Cómo lo cambiaríamos, Vanessa?
I'm going to highlight, well, in the next sentence, like, in light of the fact that, again, that's like extra words that you don't really need. So I would get rid of that. Also, our necks are on the line. I don't know if you need to tell the other group that what the problem is with that you're in. I would put something like, due to other contractual obligations, or unfortunately we're on a very strict deadline, or for various reasons. I wouldn't get specific, and I would definitely avoid telling them that you were partying the night before, because that's not going to reflect well on the company. It's not going to reflect well on you.
Yeah.
Right.
Not contractions. We'll pay for it. We will pay for it.
Where's that one? We will pay for. Yeah, we'll pay for it. I would avoid contractions here. So I would do we will pay for it. That's a good one.
¿Qué otra cosa cambiarían, chicos? Ya para terminar.
There's one example. This word,
Okay, it's wrong, right? Receive.
yeah, spelled it wrong because it's I before E, except after C. Or wait.
Receive?
Oops. Yeah. Receive.
Okay. Don't put the word babe.
Yeah. Another good one. Back at you, babe. Probably shouldn't put that in an email. So,
Regards.
regards is good. We could do, this was an example. And in this case, I would say it's okay. Sincerely yours, because it's between Adrian and Rocky. But if this was between you and your boss, I would probably just do sincerely.
Okay.
Regards, or sincerely, Rocky, yeah. And Rocky, let's just for the sake of it, Balboa, champion boxer, USA, and then contacting.
Okay.
But there's other issues here that I think you guys can find enough. There's plenty of problems. So if you do have a chance to look through this more and want me to provide the full answers, I'm happy to do that. To follow up, feel free to shoot me an email, and I'm happy to provide the full response.
Okay, Nick. Thanks.
Sure.
I want just to recommend the students a book, a great book that we found.
Sure.
A ver, les voy a recomendar un libro muy bueno. Se los podemos proporcionar, solo me preocupa, o sea, bueno, por los derechos de autor de aquí no se los puedo mencionar. No sé si, a ver, espero que no me lo bloquee YouTube. Email. Ok. Bueno, tenemos este libro. Escríbanos un mensajito, por favor, personal y les vamos a compartir el libro tal cual. Está súper bueno. Tiene... fíjense, ahí va, les voy a mostrar el índice. Tiene ejemplos de machotes, o sea, como de templates para cómo compartir información, cómo manejar algunos conflictos, algunos correos comunes para ventas, para proveedores, para trabajos en equipo, de liderazgo, inclusive algunas cositas legales. Y está súper bueno porque podemos ver todos los ejemplitos, ¿sale? Todos los templates. Entonces mándenos un mensajito. El título del libro es... aquí está. Executive Guide to Email Correspondence, ¿sale? De Dawn Michelle Bloud. Pues listo, chicos. Eso es todo. Esperemos que haya sido muy útil para ustedes. And hope to see you in other courses that we offer. Keep in touch because we will be giving some interesting talks like this one. Follow the YouTube channel. Thank you, Nick, so much. Muchas gracias, Nick, por tu participación.
Con gusto, con gusto.
Bueno, y pues cualquier cosa, chicos, aquí estamos. Síganos como en las redes, porque vamos a estar ofreciendo cursos y pláticas muy, muy interesantes. Qué bueno, Jen. Thanks, Nick. This will be alive, so you can pause it, you can see it again later, etc. Bye. Tengan un buen fin de semana. Best regards. No, yeah, best regards.
Sincerely
yours.
Yes, sincerely yours, guys.
Bye. A ver, voy a interrumpir la transmisión. Okay.